Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Sarah, though everyone in town calls me Goldilocks because of my blonde hair. My mom insists it's golden, but really, it's just yellow. I imagine you've heard of me. I'm pretty well known around here, so I hope you'll find my story credible. It all started one morning when I woke up long before dawn. A terrible nightmare had shaken me, and I couldn't fall back asleep. I didn't want to disturb my parents. They work so hard. Dad is at the textile factory all day, and Mom is always busy cooking for me and my siblings, cleaning the house, and doing laundry. It's a mountain of work. But I couldn't stand to be in my room. You see, I dreamt of a huge brown bear hiding under my bed. Logically, I knew it wasn't real, but the image was stuck in my head, making the room feel unsafe. So I slipped out into the garden, hoping the cool night air would clear my mind. My mom always says fresh air is the best remedy for anything. Outside, the night was breathtaking. The sky was filled with stars, and the moon hung large and bright. I decided to go for a walk, another one of my mom's suggestions for when fresh air alone isn't enough. As I walked, my mind wandered. My dad says I live more in my head than in the real world, and he's probably right. I walked and walked, lost in thought, until the sun began to peek over the horizon. Morning had arrived. Oh no, I thought, a sense of panic rising. I need to get home before Mom and Dad start to worry. But I was completely lost. All I could see were endless trees. I pressed on, and eventually I stumbled upon a small clearing with a charming little house in the middle. It was such a lovely cottage. I imagined it belonged to a sweet old woman, or perhaps a kind but lonely gentleman who would surely help me. Then a delightful smell cut through my thoughts. It was warm, sweet, and comforting. Drawn by the aroma, I moved closer to the house and saw a small bowl of porridge sitting on the windowsill, drizzled with honey. My stomach growled, a deep rumble that reminded me of the bear from my dream. I was starving. The window was slightly ajar, but I couldn't open it any further. I went to the front door and knocked. "Hello," I called out. There was no answer, but the door creaked open under my touch. I reasoned that the kind owner of this house wouldn't want me to go hungry. Surely they would want me to come inside and have the porridge. So I stepped inside and found myself in a cozy kitchen. On the table were 3 bowls of porridge, a large one, a medium-sized one, and a small one. I tried the large one first, but it was scalding hot. Ouch! Then I tasted the medium bowl, but it was stone cold. Brr. Finally, I tried the small bowl, and it was perfect, just the right temperature. Yum! My mother always taught me to sit down while eating, so I looked for a chair. There were 3, a big, sturdy chair, a medium-sized one, and a small one. The big chair was as hard as a rock. The medium chair was so soft I sank into it, but the little chair was just right. I settled down and finished every last bite, just as my dad taught me to always clear my plate. But as I leaned back, there was a loud crack, and the chair collapsed beneath me. A wave of guilt washed over me. I had entered a stranger's home, eaten their food, and broken their furniture. "What a terrible girl you are, Sarah," I scolded myself. I felt so ashamed. Exhausted from my long walk and shaken by the accident, all I wanted to do was sleep. I convinced myself that the kind, lonely man of the house would understand. He wouldn't want me to be so tired. I decided I would go upstairs to rest, and when he returned, I would explain everything, and we would share a good laugh about it. Upstairs, I found a bedroom with 3 beds. Now, you might wonder why a lonely man would have 3 beds. I thought he must be so kind-hearted that he kept extra beds ready for visitors, and a pang of sadness hit me as I imagined he might never have had any. There was a large bed, a medium-sized bed, and a small bed. I tried the large one first, but it had a strong animal-like smell. It was strange. It reminded me of the bear from my dream. The medium bed smelled heavily of perfume, which also seemed odd. I thought perhaps the man sprayed it to make the bed feel less empty. Finally, I laid down on the small bed. It was perfect. No smell, just comfort. I closed my eyes and instantly fell asleep. When I woke up, it was to a horrifying sight. 3 bears were standing over me. I thought I was dreaming again, but their angry expressions were very real. I couldn't understand. Why would the kind, lonely man have bears in his house? Maybe they had harmed him. The big papa bear roared, "You ate my son's porridge! You broke my son's chair! You slept in my son's bed!" I was in shock. Bears don't make porridge or own furniture. It was unbelievable. Acting on pure instinct, I did the only thing I could. I ran. I leapt out of bed and bolted from the house. But the bears chased after me, roaring and snapping. They wanted to catch me, to turn me into Goldilocks porridge. But I am a fast runner, and thanks to the meal and the nap, I had enough energy to escape. I found my way home, my heart pounding with fear. Ever since that day, I've had terrible nightmares. I now know that the house belongs to those bears. But what was I supposed to do? I was lost, hungry, and exhausted. They tried to eat me, Your Honor. Don't you think those bears owe me compensation for the trauma they caused?